Most of the wildlife is gone. Trees have been cut away. Sometimes it feels like everything worth protecting has already been lost. So where does conservation fit in when it seems too late? For me, this is exactly where the work begins, where hope rebuilds from the courage of those who refuse to give up. I've been coming here like every year for the last 20 years. Driving from Jalingo to Mambilla, it was once just covered in forest. And now there's maize, there's overgrazed grass, farming, very few trees. And the rate of forest loss has increased hugely since about 2014. It's been absolutely shocking. Mambilla Plateau is like nowhere else in Nigeria. It's at 1,600 meters, and it's an area of rolling hills. And Nganyaki Forest, which is the focus of our project, is the last really large remnant of montane forest left on the plateau, which is why it's so important. I founded Nigerian Montane Forest Project in 2003. The vision was to have a field site up in these mountains, in these forests, which I knew and loved. There are a wide range of activities and research going on here, but they all have a common theme of forest conservation. And so we have 5 ongoing long-term data collections, and these include phenology, seed dispersal, forest regeneration studies, and we have long-term studies to understand carbon sequestration at rate of change in the forest.
With trees, you cannot tell how they grow or how they change in a short time. And therefore, you need a long-term data.
You can't imagine the tons of data that we have collected over the years. We have collected data down from the soil, microbes, trees. We've collected on primates, ungulates, birds. In fact, we have collected data from the air. We trap this fog data. We can actually model to know how much clean air the forest produces for the people.
This area is the Ngelnyaki Forest Dynamic Plot, a 20.28 hectare plot. Within this plot, there are 507 quadrats, and in each of these quadrats, we have sampled all the trees. We have placed tags on them, and we've marked the points where we've taken the measurements. Now, when we collect this amount of data, we're able to establish the spatial patterns of these trees, and we can use this to make predictions on what the forest is going to look like in the future or what the implication of that may be.
This is a seed trap. It's made up of a wooden structure and a wire mesh. So it helps us to quantify the amount of seed that is being produced or the amount of flowers being aborted per year by trees. We place it strategically under the canopy of trees. We come weekly or bi-weekly to come and count these seeds. This helps us to understand the patterns of dispersal in the forest, help us to understand the phenology of trees.
Phenology is the life cycle of a plant. Actually, it underpins the forest community. New leaves photosynthesize, and when they photosynthesize, they suck in carbon. Trees, fruiting, provide food for a wide range of animals in the forest. When trees flower, they provide food for pollinators. And the pollinators in this forest don't only pollinate forest species to keep the forest going, but they also pollinate crops, so they're an ecosystem service. And so it's very important for a wide range of studies to understand.
I'm heading to one of our sites to collect data on the trees there. I do this at the end of every month. I monitor the different growth stages of these trees, how they produce flowers, buds, fruits, and new leaves. This helps us understand how the forest will expand.
The area that we're walking through now is fenced off from all the rest of the grassland, and you can see the stark contrast. The fence acted as a perch for birds, and so all these trees have been sown naturally. Along here, you can see seedlings that have come from birds perching. And this is fantastic. It means that we're actually getting a small forest coming back.
Before the reserve was established, and before this area was fenced off, there were very few trees around here. But after fencing, the trees have really grown, and this area has now become a large forest.
20 years ago, this was tussock grassland, overgrazed, no trees at all. And all of this has come back naturally just by fencing and stopping cattle coming in.
We've been doing a lot of work with the communities, and about 90% of the people living around Nigerian Forest Reserve directly benefit from the forest.
Initially, as herders, we were afraid the reserve would take our land, and we resisted. But now, we know the positive impact it has on the area, and we are grateful.
The most important ecosystem services to them is food, medicine, and honey. This food is classified as spices, vegetables, nuts, fruit, and also herbs for their ailments. They actually benefit from the forest directly.
We are very happy because we benefit from the reserve. We would love for our children and grandchildren to benefit from it and to cooperate with those who manage it. I pray that this reserve continues to grow.
There's an overlap between research and working with community. Initially, the project was started as a university project, and so education is at its core. We don't want it to be confined to science and postgraduates, and so we have built a nursery school. We help teach into the nursery school. We help teach into primary schools as well.
Madam was the one who built this school, 2009. Today, you can see our girls and the boys are going to school, up to secondary school level. We are happy. We are grateful. God should bless Madam. She has changed our life.
I think some of my friends and even family initially thought probably I'm crazy or something. But I think now when I explain to them what I do, and I think with all the talk on climate change, they kind of see my role. I think it's also quite an odd job for a woman, especially in Nigeria.
People think we are crazy, but being crazy is okay. Forest ecosystems are very, very complex. And if you're not crazy, you're not patient, if you don't see beyond what other people see, I don't think you will understand anything. We see ourselves as curious people. We see ourselves as people that want to unravel mysteries in the forest.
Collecting data in this plot is a huge task. You need people that are trained. All the field crew that I have here, they're kind of experts in plant identification. These censuses take us about a year of data collection, data entry. You need to check to ensure that things are done properly. So you have people planning, you have people doing the actual work. Then you also have to deal with the elements. And the terrain is not also very favorable. So whether you're making predictions about forests, whether you're making predictions about animals going extinct, and all of, it requires a lot of data collection.
Running a project like this is cash intensive. We have 60 staff, so salaries alone are a large part of our budget, and they need to be. Also, just these buildings, for example, maintaining them. We've got to keep them in good order, and in this tropical climate, that takes constant maintenance. Equipment for scientific research costs a lot as well, and it is actually amazing what we can do on relatively little compared to other projects of this size.
A colleague of mine would say conservation without money is conversation. So yes, we need people to fund our work. Yes, we need people to support what we do. With more money, you can expand your project, you can have more hands on deck and achieve more conservation goals.
When I think back 20 years ago to the inception of the project, never entered my head that we would have over 60 employees. AFC have given us certainty, and I know that AFC have far larger mandates than our project, but I do think that our visions align in that we're concerned about the environment, concerned about climate change, and realise the necessity of doing something about it. You know, forests don't come back because we talk about them. They come back because people care quietly and keep caring longer than anyone expects. The people here, they've done that. And watching this place heal, it still surprises me. I suppose what I feel now is gratitude. It's really not complicated. It's just good people doing their best for a place that matters. And that should be enough for us to restore hope.